So these guys are ring-tailed coatis. There's 4 different species of coati. Now 2 of them come from South America and then 2 come from Mexico. So these guys are South American and they're primarily from Uruguay and Argentina. They are part of the raccoon family, but whereas raccoons are nocturnal, these guys are diurnal, which means that they're more active during the day. Now their diet consists of a variety of different fruit and vegetables. In the wild, they come from the sort of forests and the lowlands, and they spend a lot of time in the trees. Their tree house is just behind me and they feel a lot safer when they're off the ground. So in the wild they are omnivores, so they'll eat small eggs, little rodents, vertebrates and nuts and seeds. So we give them a variety of fruit and vegetables and we give them a scatter feed of the eggs. So they're having the scatter feed this morning and they use their nose. It's a very special nose. It actually rotates 60 degrees and that allows them to sniff out all the bugs and the nuts and the little bits of fruit in the wild. And then their sharp claws and their double jointed ankles mean that their ankles can rotate 180 degrees, which allows them to descend trees head first. And it also means that they're extremely good diggers. So as you can see, we have them on a bark substrate. And the reason for that is we don't give them a live feed in addition to their nuts and their fruit. And the reason for that is it's enrichment for them to get it out of the ground themselves. In the wild, they do live in female-only groups. And then any males born in the group will live solitary, and then they just join them for breeding season, which is at the beginning of the year. Any kits that are born, which they usually have litters of between 3 and 7, they'll give birth to them in the trees, and then after 6 weeks then the mums will bring them down to join the rest of the group. Now you may have noticed that they've got stripes on the tails, and the reason for that is when they're going through the jungles and the lowlands, they'll stick the tails up in the air, and it means that they don't lose each other in the troop. Now unfortunately for these guys, they are on the invasive species list. The numbers are growing increasingly popular in this country as they've become more popular as pets, and that is the reason that they're on the invasive species list. So the invasive species list is a list of not just animals but also plants, such as your Japanese knotweed, and it's things that are not native to this country, but they do pose a threat because of their growing numbers to our natural wildlife and the environment. So unfortunately, as a result of that, it means that we are unable to breed from them, but that's not a problem as they live in female-only groups anyway. So unfortunately that also means that these guys will eventually die out in UK collections, which is such a shame because they really are mischievous characters. So in here we've got 2 girls, they're called Rosemary and Dill. This one's Rosemary coming towards the front, and we've had them for around 4 years now. Now when we first had this enclosure specially built for them, we had it all turfed at the bottom. And then they decided that they didn't want turf, they're quite naturally destructive by nature. So we put it down to the bark substrate, and then they've got different plants in here like the dogwood and the yellow flag and the pampas grass. And these guys just spend the day exploring the enclosure and digging out looking in search of bugs.